For some reason, when I handle this knife, a movie scene plays through my head.
You got a light, buddy?
Yeah, sure, kid. There you go.
And your wallet.
Nick, give him your wallet.
What for?
He's got a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
How's it going, Blazers? We're going to build a community to allow for discussions while providing specifications you can relate to so you can make an educated decision on your purchases. So this one, we do have the Medford Praetorian. This is the Scout. It's actually the MKT line, so that's going to be anything under that $400 mark. So now, before we get into that one, I just want to say thank you to anybody that did subscribe. The Blade Show West coverage is still available, so check out all those folks. Out of 232 vendors, I chose somewhere about 43. I got the 33 vendors, so 33 out of 232. So check those folks out. I do appreciate all those vendors that actually took the time to speak with me, to do the interviews, as well as Greg Medford actually did an interview as well. So that's great. I appreciate it, and very much thank you very much to anybody that's joining on. So now just let me know also in the comments down below. I would like to know which one of those interviews was your favorite. So check that out. Thank you to Blade HQ for providing this knife. This is one that they are part of for the pass-around group. So the Medford Praetorian Scout. So we're going to look at some of the comparisons here because it's kind of hard to put into perspective as far as how big this knife is. And then especially for myself, there's some blades that I can't really take with me to work. I guess to give you a little bit of background on that. So I'm going to show you a knife that scared some coworkers. So this is a fairly large knife, and this is the one that caused a little bit of a ruckus. Yep. Kershaw fraction. So, can't really take that one. Okay. But anyway, so that's the one that I had some issues with. So some people were a little bit of concerned that I had this itty bitty little one. But that's the other one. So that's something that is a little bit of an issue with some of the blades like this is when you take it out to use, it's going to be a little bit of a different reaction that you get from something like this than some of the other blades out there. But one of the things that is really great is for Medford Knife and Tool, they started with a lot of these big blades because that's what their orders were. I mean, months out. This is just a back order of all these type of blades. But if you haven't been to their website, check it out. For the new ones that are coming out, I'm looking at two blades I might get at some point, which is going to be the Smooth Criminal, which is their button lock, because I do love a button lock. And then also do have the Scrappy that'll be coming out in 2019, which is going to be their little slip joint. So that's going to be a pretty cool little thing there. So comparison-wise, so Medford, full-size Griptilian, Delica, Rat 2, just because it's kind of popular right now. Backlash from Civivi for Backlash. And one that I actually was really surprised by, which is going to be this one, which is the Code 4. This one's by Cold Steel. So as far as sizing wise, it's pretty much a similar size. Even the cutting portion of it is pretty similar. But one thing that's really was surprising by was actually how thin this is. So pretty much, I mean, that's basically half a knife as far as the comparison between these two, as far as that width. And so I could pretty much hide that behind a Bic pen, which I did do on Instagram for that one. So this one actually is one that you're going to look at the hand sizing for it to see kind of what it is for you. So you can print that little piece of paper out. The link is down below. So print that out. It does do to scale, and then you can see where this is going to sit in your hand. So we're going to start with the adult male hand, do a cross, and also kind of the angle where you're actually going to be normally holding the knife, and then going to be adult female as well. Going to be a cross. and then also in an angled format for that. So this one has a D2 blade steel for this model, and then that one, the lowest part of it is the curves and resistance. So we're going to start with that one as far as this chart here to get an idea as far as where it compares to the other knives. So that's going to be about really the low end of that for D2. And then you're going to go on to the hardness, which is near the top end of things, wear resistance, and then also edge retention as far as how long they will kind of keep a workable edge for it. So that's kind of the interesting things about it for this steel here. So very much a good one. A lot of people really love the D2. So for this one, as far as deployment methods, you do have the thumb roll. So this one took a little bit for me to get used to for this being such a large knife. I did find when you have really dry hands, this is very difficult for me to actually actuate, but it is something that I did learn how to open this knife. This one also does have the ability to do kind of an inertia. So it does have that ability to do that one as well. So those are two deployment methods that I found for this knife. And then for knife roll, you can kind of see how this is going to fit into your pocket up here. And really, this pocket clip was really nice as far as in and out of the pocket. So I do give it credit for that. It doesn't look like a really huge knife when it's in your pocket. And then also the tension on it was actually really good for that pocket clip. So this one has a weight of 7.53 ounces. So you see the weight that I got on the scale there. And also for the microscope, I used a little Carson microscope. So you can kind of see as far as what the grind looks like. And it's actually, you can see a little bit of the striations there, but it's actually pretty fine edge for this knife. And then you can look at the photo size for the blade length. So the specification is a 3.75 inch for the blade, and then also a 5 inch for the handle. So you can see kind of what the measurements I got here as far as the blade, and then also for the handle side. So for sharpness for this one is kind of on the high end, well, basically the low end of things, because it's getting a little bit almost to an edge that needs some work. So this one came in at 329 grams to cut the best media. So that one is going to be basically in the high end cutlery, almost to edge needing maintenance. But this is also part of the pass-around group. So this has gone through a few people before it got to me. So I wouldn't put that as far as giving that a lot of, I guess don't really take a lot of that to heart, because then that is not what you're going to get right out of the box. So I'm assuming that it's going to be a little bit sharper for that. So current pricing for this is $390. And then for a MSRP or through Medford Knife and Tool, it's going to be about $425. So that's going to be the pricing on this one here. For the knife itself, I would definitely say to borrow it because for this sizing, it is pretty cool. I mean, to actually handle it and everything else. But as far as showing it to even my kids and my wife, they're like, that's a huge knife. And like, what would you do with something like that? So that's the type of reactions you get from it. So it's kind of like, it seems like it's more one that you can take with you to a party or something and go kind of back to that first movie scene as far as really showing off a large knife. But I'm going to end this one off for Greg Medford as far as that interview portion. I'm going to have him talk to you a little bit about as far as kind of where they started for it, because they do have a different line for the knives that they actually have available now. So, because they're not just a chunky knife company, they do have some, this one for example, but you're going to have some other lines as well. So check that out. And then also leave me any comments down below as far as your comments and what your thoughts are. And thank you very much for your time.
Slim Midi is doing really well. So many people kind of think of us as a big knife company only, and we only made big knives because my list to build them was so long, I didn't do anything else. And as I caught up and the company grew, I started bringing some more mainstream, I would say more pocket-friendly carry style knives. So